on positive living, positive thinking. This is the first step into a new journey for you if you are a person who normally thinks very negative. If you are a person who has been on a spiritual battle and going through the war of life and you've been really focusing on living positive, then this will be an enhancement to your journey. Now remember, when you're living positive, there are many things you have to do. I'm Cerise, and I'll be taking you through this positive living journey. First of all, when it comes to living positive, we must not only think positive, but we must react positive and behave positive. For instance, let's take this situation into consideration. Let's say you're in the grocery store and you order something that comes up to $55. For some reason, you decide to pay $5 cash. Maybe because you only have $5 cash on you. But then you decide to put the rest on debit or credit card. But when the cashier hands you the debit or credit card machine, because they got sidetracked, they mistakenly punch in $5. So when really they're supposed to punch in $50, they only punch in 5. You notice the mistake immediately, but you still go along with the transaction, knowing full well that you are being undercharged for your items. And instead of correcting the salesperson, you allow the cashier to go short on their cash register. You may or may not know that doing that will cause major negative effects. But in any case, you allow your greed to dictate your outcome and have the compensation you will have to pay back become completely unpredictable. You see, what happens is at that moment, you have a choice. You have a choice to either say, hey, I'm not going to allow myself to have to pay this back somehow in the future, because the payback will be solely dependent on the circumstances you will have caused the cashier by not being honest. For instance, once the cashier realizes their mistake, most likely by the end of their shift, they will either have to pay the missing amount back themselves or they will be reprimanded for their carelessness, perhaps even fired. More importantly, they will learn a valuable lesson to be watchful from now on and to be certain to not undercharge a customer. You, on the other hand, you will have to pay back an enormous amount for your actions. And the payback will depend on how massively your actions affected the cashier. What if the cashier has a family who is struggling to pay the bills and is living on bare essentials? Well, your actions would resonate into their world, causing further grief. Eventually, their grief would bombard them and it would boomerang into your world, and eventually, their hardship will be mirrored onto you. Of course, you may not get to the point of poverty, but you may lose that important business deal that would have made a positive impact on your career. You see, some people might look at it as, oh my gosh, that's such a positive thing. This is a blessing from God because, hey, I was supposed to pay $55 for this purchase. However, there's been a great mistake. So now I'm only paying $10, $5 cash, $5 on the debit machine. This is wonderful. Thank you, God. What a blessing. But no. You have to look at it this way. You have to say to yourself in a very positive manner. Because if you say it that way, that's negative. You're taking from someone. You're taking from even the store. But you have to think positive and add to your own character. Add to your beautiful personality by saying, hey, something's not right here. And you just bring it to the attention of the salesperson and you say, you know what, I think you undercharged me, and I just want to be sure that you know what you were doing here. And once you do that, you will gain so much respect, not only from the cashier, but also from God, the universe, and you will feel so good about yourself that you will set your aura on fire. It will be brilliant. You will start attracting beautiful, wonderful things to you. Blocks in your life will be removed, and all the negativity that is around you that people have caused to you will be released. You will feel free. That will be a test that you would have passed. Now, of course, on the other hand, you would have failed it if you just look at yourself and say, hey, I'm going to take that money and run. I'm not going to pay what I owe. Why should I? The cashier made the mistake. Why should I? The cashier was being careless. Why should I? That's easy come, easy go for me. Well, where there is an action, there is every reaction. And when you least expect it, again, you will cause havoc on that cashier's life. Yeah, maybe the cashier should have been more careful. However, we're not always careful at every single moment of the day, and we rely on others to help us be mindful. So, in the future, when you have that chance to be honest, then be honest, and that is behaving positive.